Kia ora, everybody. It is the Sunday, the 9th of October. It is 8 a.m. New Zealand time, and this is the NZ Travel Show.
And this is Robin, and I'm Laura, and we're the team behind NZPocketGuide.com, which is New Zealand's largest travel guide, because it literally has thousands and thousands of articles to help you plan the perfect trip to New Zealand. So now is the perfect time to start planning, because, as we always say now, which always makes me really happy, the borders are completely open, very limited restrictions, just the usual visa stuff. So yeah, pretty easy to come to New Zealand
Easy peasy,
right
breezy,
now.
beautiful.
And so now's the perfect time to start planning for absolutely free on nzpocketguide.com. But if you're not really into reading, this is what the NZ Travel Show is all about. You guys can come onto the live chat and ask your New Zealand travel questions directly to the experts. And we are here to answer every single one of them. So ask away. But if you miss the live show, you can always put your questions in the comments.
You don't just cry, okay. I thought you just cry yourself.
You could cry, get over your tears, and then put your questions in the comments section of any of our YouTube videos.
Yeah, and I'm always happy to go over them. Alright, so today is a pretty awesome day, guys. So there's plenty that's going to happen in this live show. We have a whole hour with you. We'll take all your questions, and we have a new segment also that's going to feature at some point somewhere within this show, so don't miss out. But let's get started with the first few comments that we got. And the first one is from Christina, which is one of our lovely Patreon. What is she saying?
Christina says, Morena, everyone. Sunny but colder here. 25 days. Not that I'm counting.
So it looks like she's enjoying a nice autumn day in Canada.
Yeah,
and you're
nice.
less than a month away from your trip. That's pretty exciting. Speaking about somebody which is really close to his trip, what is Tamo saying?
Tamo says, good evening, smiley face.
So Tamo is also about 25 days away from his trip. So that's pretty exciting.
So close.
Nathan says...
Kia ora, everyone.
How are you doing, Nathan? Okay, so we have Tapish right here, which Tapish, I am suspecting, was the lovely person that was messaging us on Instagram, and I just told him, listen, we're about to be live on YouTube. Just come and ask your question there. So what is Tapish saying?
Tapish says, good night from India. Anyone here can help me for my New Zealand internship program, looking for accommodation and other.
Okay, so depending on where you are at, where you're going to be based during the internship, so I don't know where you're going to be, on NZ Pocket Guide, we actually do have full accommodation guide to help you with that. So what I'm going to be doing for you, Tapish, I'm going to switch over to this screen right here. So Laura has disappeared, but she's replaced with this beautiful website. So if you go on nzpocketguide.com, and then you go on accommodations right here, and we have a weekly accommodation guide. And those things are basically full guides for people that want kind of more longer term accommodations in New Zealand. We also have long term, but weekly is more what people do here. You pay rent weekly. Life happens kind of weekly. Very often you're paid weekly. So for example, if you were to click on North Island City, sorry for the ads, we sometimes have to pay for the bill. You know, the power here to make this live session ain't cheap. And so on there, you have every city of the North Island New Zealand. You have full guides. For example, let's say you're going to be in Hamilton. You have a full guide right here explaining you all the different suburbs, the average rent and all that, as well as some tips on how to find your accommodation. So I think that's going to be a great springboard for you to start planning your internship in New Zealand, Tapish. But if you do have any extra questions about things to do, traveling around New Zealand and all that, we'll be very happy to help you out. After all, we are doing a travel show right here, so we're all about traveling in New Zealand. All right, what do we have? What is Rafakat saying?
Rafakat says, good morning, guys. No Leeds inserted in there. Very disappointing to see that Leeds isn't there. Is it Rafakat that's usually saying Leeds? Yeah, it is, right?
I think it is.
Yeah.
I think it is. We usually just type the word Leeds, no context.
Good morning, guys. Watched Pakistan versus New Zealand cricket match last night.
Oh, yeah.
Pakistan won. Better luck next time, NZ. Oh, spoiler alert.
Wow, there was a big rugby game as well last night. The Women Rugby World Cup is happening at the moment. So
in New Zealand.
In New Zealand, happy times. We had Armands, which is one of our Patreon. You may hear from him a little later. He was at the game. All right, what is Anthony saying?
Anthony says Morena from Rodeo, California.
What does morena means, Laura?
It means good morning.
I thought you would ask this
No,
time.
no. I took a bit too long of a pause there.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. Morena means good morning in the Maori language.
And Nathan Baith says, did anyone watch the cricket or rugby games last night? Well, it looks like Rafakat was watching the cricket, and we know that Armand, which is one of our Patreon, was watching the rugby. I'm guessing that Clay was watching the rugby as well. Let's be honest. That would be surprising if not.
Admittedly, Robin and I aren't so much into sports, you know, like we don't really... It's not really our thing, but yeah, we know a lot of people are really enjoying especially the Women's Rugby World Cup at the moment in New Zealand. We're seeing a lot of activity online and people talking about it and stuff. So sounds like it's a big deal.
Yeah. Also, the fact we don't have the AL, we don't watch sports because we don't watch sports.
Yeah, it's just an aspect of our boring personalities.
Like every time we watch sport, like for example, when there's like a big World Cup or something, like some friends would invite us to do like a party. Like usually it's for the finale, you know, like somebody, there's always somebody that does a party, so we always get invited to one of those. So we're always happy to watch it in then, but you know, because it's bigger of an event. But yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so Anthony says, me and my clients, we should be there in about 13 days. Ooh, look at that. Some people are coming so close. That's awesome.
Tamo says 24 days for me. Ooh. He's beating Christina by just 1 day.
Yeah. Speaking of Claire, he says hi, and he says, of course he was watching the rugby. Of course he was. Who were you cheering for, though?
I wonder.
All right, what's the next comment?
The official ambassador of Mulatto Race says, hi, is there any difference between New Zealand bush and non? And non?
Would you be able to kind of explain a little bit and give us a bit more context on that? So the New Zealand bush, what you mean is like, you know, the New Zealand wilderness,
like
and compared to like not wilderness, i.e. cities, the difference are quite striking. One has trees and one has less bitumen.
Yeah.
But
if you could rephrase your question, so maybe we're just being a bit dumb here, but if you could rephrase your question so we could understand.
I think it's not maybe. I think we definitely don't understand the question. So yeah. So we don't get the question. If you don't mind rephrasing it, we'd be happy to help.
Yeah.
What is Rafakat saying?
Rafakat says Leeds.
Maddie oh my gosh, I destroyed her name. I'm sorry, Maddie. Maddie Versteg says 34 days until our trip. I can't believe we are so close. Yeah, you've been coming along for quite a while. I'm going to show it because I find it funny. Yeah, you've been coming around for quite a while now. Maddie, I feel like, you know, you were with us for like a good part of COVID as well, if I remember correctly. So yeah, that's pretty exciting that you're coming. So it looks like you're going to be coming in New Zealand right during the peak season. You're going to get great weather. It's going to be awesome. Tell us a little bit about what you're going to be doing when in New Zealand. Especially tell us if you're going to go to Rotorua transition. Question of the day. Question of the day.
Yeah.
Wow. Question of the day.
Woohoo! I don't know what is expected.
I don't know either. All right, every single day we ask you a question. Every single live session we ask you a question, and if you guys want to vote on it, that'd be great. Today the question is very simple: will you be visiting Rotorua during your next trip to New Zealand? Rotorua has tons to offer. It's really amazing, but we have lately heard of quite a few people that are gonna skip the whole city altogether because apparently it stinks over there.
Apparently,
so
well, it's true, guys. It's true.
Yeah, but it's really not that bad. And that should not stop you from visiting Rotorua. So we'd love for you guys to vote. There is a poll in the comment section right now, and at the end of this live show, we'll check it out together. Speaking of the live show, the next person on our list is Tapish.
Tapish says, I'm actually looking for accommodation for 6 months. Is it available on your website? So
just to clarify things to you, Tapish, even if you are going to be staying in an accommodation for 6 months in New Zealand, you wouldn't be paying for 6 months in a go. You will be going at the weekly kind of rent. That's how it works in New Zealand. And so for this reason, the weekly accommodation guide is the best place for you to go and to find this accommodation. People use those guides to find accommodation for 6 months, 12 months, and so on. However, the one thing I would like to point out is that our website will not provide you with accommodation. It will just give you the tips for you to find the accommodation on your own, showing you the right website to go to, as well as what you can expect and what kind of paperwork you can expect.
How to approach it once you arrive in New Zealand, because you'll often find that moving to New Zealand first is getting to New Zealand is the easiest step, and then after that you need to look for accommodation while you're in the country. We really recommend doing that because usually, finding somewhere to stay online, you don't get a feel for the place. It's definitely better to be able to be in New Zealand when you're doing your accommodation search. These guides that we have on the website that Robin showed you sort of guides you through that process, how you would do that once you're in New Zealand.
Yeah. So here you go. Okay, Lauren says, hello and good morning, Laura and Robin and everyone else.
Hello.
Then she continued by saying /nm, /bvcxz, capital A, Z, capital S, capital E, capital F, capital D, capital K, capital I, capital J, capital U, semicolon, capital P, capital L, capital
committed.
O, apostrophe, backward slash. And that's just her cleaning her keyboard, and that was just that.
Maybe.
She says it below.
I was just going to say, we are usually committed to reading everybody's comments, no matter what they say.
All right. Tapish says, you guys are superbly amazing. I mean, that is a superlative if I've ever heard one. I love it. Says, just loving your word. Keep it up and can express in words love from India. Nice one.
Thank you, Tapish.
I appreciate the emojis. If you can speak in words, speak in emojis. We are always good suckers for amazing emojis on this channel. So if you want to reward us, make sure that you hit the like button and find an emoji that we've never seen before. Like, scroll on your phone and try to find an emoji we've never seen before. I always enjoy that.
Challenge accepted.
All right, what is Lauren saying?
Lauren says, sorry about that, giving my keyboard a cleaning and not realising the chat was active. Oops. We did get a little warning from YouTube when you had your, bit of a spasm on the keyboard. And saying, are you sure you want to show this? And we were like, yeah, that's quite funny. We do want to show that.
Yeah, I'm always keen on this kind of nonsense. Okay, Nathan says, did you get any snow at all where you were when it snowed during the week? Yes.
For about 2 seconds.
Yeah. We saw just a few flakes coming down and then the snow was over. But yeah, so it has been very cold. So for those that don't have the context, so Nathan is living in central North London, so are we. But for context, we have been going through an Antarctic blast right here for the last few days. It has been extremely cold and a lot of snow everywhere. Dunedin, where Clay is living, was covered of snow. They did snow snowmen and snow.
Yes, snowmen.
Yes, snowmen. So,
if you have multiple snowmans, they're snowmen, and one snowman.
Snow people. It could be a lady. People? Nobody knows. Nobody knows.
I don't know. I didn't check.
I didn't check. Right. So it's been really, really cold. So there was snow a little bit everywhere for sure. But then the sun came out during the day, and that was amazing, and I could work outside, and that was great. All right. Christina says she was doing a Maori evening to...
she's saying she's going to Rotorua and doing a Maori evening too.
Nice. Maddie, are you going to Rotorua as well? I was asking you. I don't know if she has replied just yet. Maybe we missed it. Lawrence say, where did you book the Maori event? When, how? There's links on our website if you want for you go for best Maori experiences, and we link you to
their tourism, so they're tourist sort of activities. Yes. Right? It's not really
so you buy tickets.
Yeah, it's not really like a one-off event. They do it every night. There's I think 3 different Maori sort of cultural tours in Rotorua that do Maori evening experiences, which they put on every night. They, it usually involves having a hangi buffet, which is traditionally cooked food in an earth oven. So yeah, it's it's a thing that anyone can do very easily. Like Robin says, we have listed on nzpocketguide.com the 10 best Maori tours in New Zealand. Woo! So yeah, that will kind of give you an idea of how to find those activities, what they're called, how to book them, etc.
All right, so for this Patreon segment, right now I'm going to go really quick and we'll get back to the comments for sure. But we really want to welcome Monica and Peter that joined us this week on Patreon. We're stoked to have you guys on board. There is much more people that right now are interested in joining us on Patreon as their trip is getting closer to New Zealand and they want to get a little bit more support. We'll review your itinerary. We are every single day on the Facebook group, so you can post any questions and we can give you suggestions and help out with planning your trip. You receive receive PDF travel guides to New Zealand. This week we're going to reveal a new car game. So we made up a whole entire game to make road trip fun. So like fun road trip games, extra live session, an extra hour of that to help you with your trip in New Zealand. All of those awesome perks are available for super cheap on Patreon. Plus you do good things and you keep the lights up right here in our studio. So that'd be absolutely awesome. You get plenty of behind the scene as well and all that good stuff. So yeah, if you want to join us on Patreon, there is a link in the description of this video. And yeah, if you're close to your trip to New Zealand, go nuts. Join us on Patreon for like a month. And yeah, it's cheap, it's cheerful, it's a lot of fun. And yeah, I really enjoy it. All right, let's go back to where we are.
Scroll. We just got a couple comments up.
Okay, what do we have? Tamo is sending us a nice smiley face. Christine is giving us a funky emoji, a shaka emoji.
Saying, hi guys, 28 more days for me before we come.
Ooh, 28 more days.
Everybody's going to be in the country at the same time.
Yeah. We have like on Patreon as well. We also have a calendar where everybody put their travel trip. Their travel dates. Yeah, that was initiated by Tamo actually, and quite a lot of people are kind of gonna have similar travel dates. So some meetups are already organizing. I think Christina and Peter are gonna be meeting near Mount Cook, which is quite exciting. Cool. All right. Lawrence says that she appreciates the commitment on trying to say all those letters. Maddie, she's going to tell me about Rotorua. Yes, we have been planning since the pre-pandemic. Your resources have been a lifesaver. Planning a trip is a lot more overwhelming than we thought it would be. Yeah, and she continues saying, we are doing a 3-week camper van road trip from Auckland to Christchurch. We are 2 full days in Rotorua. Nice. You're going to absolutely love it. Yeah, no, we know that it can be quite stressful, and that's why, like, for example, on Patreon, we offer to kind of review all the itinerary, add a lot of notes. For example, we did a whole, basically almost a brand new itinerary for Seok, which joined us on Patreon a couple of weeks ago. And then she said, I don't want to use it. Let's do another one. So we do another one now.
Okay.
It's just the way she was trying to get her husband and sons to do the itinerary before even we suggested it, but then they were like, nah, too much driving, so we kind of suggested what she wanted and she was like, I knew I was right.
Yeah. All right.
Anyway, Anthony says, packing for my trip, should I expect it to be cold for what you're saying, and pack some cold. Pack some thermos to go along with everything. So it's coming in 2 weeks, Laura. Would it be cold? Do you need thermal layers?
I would say bring one long-sleeved thermal layer. Just have it in your backpack as you're going around, because there may be days where, you know, there's no sun and it does feel a little chillier, and you probably will be quite thankful for having just a little extra layer. But definitely, because you're coming sort of in spring, just as things are starting to warm up. And it's
so it's going to be here around like 22nd of October.
So that's going to be definitely you're getting into slightly warmer months, but still we'll definitely have some chilly evenings, and but definitely at least one thermal underlayer would be good. For sure, you definitely want a rain jacket, or something that you can wear, sort of just something to maybe break the wind if you're doing any like hikes or something. Where you're exposed to the elements, for instance. So sort of sweaters, jumpers. It's definitely good to have, like what Robin's wearing, like an extra hoodie, something.
Everybody should be like Robin.
Yeah, definitely. You still wanna be able to have like a couple of those available. So don't rule out warm clothing for the end of October. You still want to have some of those layers available.
I'm just going to say, if you don't pack it, you're going to regret not packing it. And if you pack it, it's going to clutter your backpack. You don't have a choice. Just pack it. Yeah. Otherwise, you'll regret it.
Yeah.
All right. Tapish says, I would love to meet you guys once I visit New Zealand. Oh, well, sometimes we organize meetups, and we may start doing that a little bit more regularly, probably around 2023. Just because of COVID right now, not that many people traveling around, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see if that happens again. We obviously are very, very busy. We barely have any time. As our Patreon members can attest when they see all the stuff we post on Facebook. All right, on the secret Facebook group. Anthony says we call the. It's cold.
It's just clarifying that it's meant to be cold.
Yeah.
Maddie says, we've already said Maddie. Tamo says,
here we go.
Interesting, this chat window hides my text and only lets emoticons by. We'll retry later. Interesting.
What? Okay.
hides my teeth.
Why are you trying to say... Oh, okay. Interesting.
Okay.
Are you trying to say something spammy? I mean, usually you don't, so... But it has been playing up a little bit with you lately. It has happened before. Christina says...
We are doing Mitai Maori Cultural Experience thanks to checking the NZ Pocket Guide site.
Yeah, it is a fun one. And it's going to be really cool. And the food is great, so...
Yeah.
I'm always in for great food. All right, what is Tamo saying?
Tamo says, was trying to say that no smell will make me skip Rotorua. Redwoods and night luge, never mind the smell.
Again, just to make it clear, the smell in Rotorua is very, minimal, right?
Yeah.
You get hit by sulfur smell when you
It's kind of
cannot drive in.
a bit of a... It's sort of exaggerated for the joke, guys. So don't worry. And also, Redwoods and night luge, that is actually away from the little contained smelly part. It's
and the luge is actually quite high as well. So you're quite far.
It's quite nice fresh air over in that area of Rotorua. But you mostly smell that sort of sulfury smell right in the city centre, where there's, especially around Kurirao Park, which it has lots of bubbling mud, sort of steaming lakes and stuff, and it comes with a bit of a sulfur smell. So yeah, it's not everywhere in the city.
Indeed. All right, where we at? Krishna says, I went through the site and I picked that one because of how it sounded. Yeah, they're all slightly bit different. They're quite cool. So yeah. Let me just I'll find a link while Laura lists the next.
This next one, yeah.
Yeah.
Anthony says, and just to let you know, I'm watching you guys, and I'm watching the 7th episode of The Lord of the Rings, of the Power of the Rings. Oh, well.
The Rings of Power.
The Rings of Power, yeah. Whatever that thing's called. Yeah. Well. You'll have to give us a rundown during the Patreon session if it's improving, if it's getting worse. During our Patreon live sessions, we do often talk about the Rings of Power since there's such close ties with New Zealand there. Tapish says, this is for your hard work, guys, and gives us a nice emoji of the hands together. How delightful. Nathan says, when people are visiting Roto Vegas, they should do everything that is related...
Somebody has done his research. Yeah. I love it.
They should do everything that is related to tourism because there's so many things to do. Oh, yes. Rotorua, I think in the North Island especially, it's the city with the most amount of things to do, for sure. You've got...
There's a lot to do there.
It's not just about the geothermal parks or the Maori experiences. You can also do really awesome whitewater rafting, zipline tours, this sort of the treetop walkway there, which who was talking about that just a second ago? Tamo? Oh no, that was Redwoods. But Redwoods, yeah, that's another thing that also has a treetop walkway in there.
There's an amazing zipline there as well.
I said about the zipline. There's Eat Street, you can go try lots of good food. The Rotorua Night Market. There's a ton of really sort of touristy but fun things to do. And if it's raining,
you have mini golf, laser tag, bowling. You have also rainy day options, which is quite rare. And you have the highest commercially raft waterfall in the country as well. So that's pretty good.
Mountain biking.
We're going to talk about Rotorua around the end of the show anyway.
Yeah,
so
okay.
Great. Thank you, Laura. Thank you so much for that. All right, moving on. Where are we at?
We have Christina saying, looking forward to meeting up with Peter on the way to the Hooker Valley.
Here you go.
Track.
So yeah, not too far from Mount Cook. Nice one. So we have on Patreon we have a secret Facebook group where where all the patrons are there, and so they all are organizing meetup to the great despair of Tamo that still have no one that matched with his itinerary. That sucks.
Lawrence says, thanks to Christina, I'll check it out. Tapish says, what should I pack in a bag if coming in New Zealand in January 2023?
So if you're coming from India, you're going to complain so much about how cold it is. Well, it's not cold. January is our summer, but you will think it's cold. We have several Indian friends that complains all the time about how cold it is. So pack some warm clothing for yourself for sure. So yeah, that's quite important. But obviously have some togs, so swimwear and all that, because it's summer in New Zealand, so you want to enjoy yourself as well. But you will complain about the cold for sure. And then especially if you're planning on staying 6 months, you're going to stay all the way to winter, and then it's going to get actually cold. And this is going to be cold.
Yeah. Also, Tapish, we do have a really good in-depth packing list on nzpocketguide.com. So if you head to nzpocketguide.com and just search packing list, then we do have some really handy like bullet point lists, and then you can pick out what applies to you, because obviously some people don't pack certain things because maybe it doesn't apply to their lives, but it's just pick from that list, and there's lots of handy advice there.
All right.
What are you
You
laughing
just love
at?
packing. I just love how much you love packing stuff. You're like, wait, you can pack money.
Yeah.
She's just all excited about it. I love it.
Packing lists are handy.
That's so funny. Okay, so Lawrence says, I'm reading the 10 best place to experience Maori culture in New Zealand. Cool. And Lawrence, I'll tag you in the comment just below that with a link to the best Maori tours. So that could be the other one you may want to check out as well. So I gave you the link right in the live chat for you. Tapish is saying, you guys are actually famous in youngsters in India. They call you as Laro. What? Where's Rolara here?
Roller.
What is it? Actually, Laro
Laro.
sounds better, doesn't
Yeah.
it? Doesn't it? Yeah,
Oh,
okay,
that's
Laro.
cute.
Yeah, I like
that.
So we have a what is it? Celebrity couple name?
Yeah.
Oh, it's so embarrassing.
What was the one for Angelina and Brad Pitt? Like Brangelina.
What?
It's like I was just like, what are the famous couple names? So yeah, basically with a new Brangelina.
Of course. I mean, you cannot wait here. Yeah, okay. No. I'm lost for words. Hey, listen, that's fun. That's fun.
That way.
Well, hello to all India from Laro. I hope that you guys are enjoying this live show. And yeah, feel free to pop in and ask your questions about traveling in New Zealand. We're always happy to answer. All right, Christina says, can you go swimming in November?
Well, depends who
She's
you
from
are.
Canada.
If you're from Canada,
She's
I'd say
half
yes.
human, half a polar bear, right? That's what all Canadians are. From my experience
Yeah.
living a year in Canada, I know that you guys have a resistance to cold.
I've seen, especially New Zealanders, actually.
I have swum in November.
Yeah, I've seen like plenty of locals go for a swim in the lake in November, or the beaches. It's like, you do get some quite hot days in November. So, be prepared. I'd say take your togs and a towel when you're out and about near water, and if the mood takes you, why not go for a swim?
And togs is Kiwi for swimwear.
Yes.
All right, Maddie says, any insight on how long you think it may take to get through the Auckland airport upon arrival? Oh, well, we actually were discussing that this week, so yes. And she said, we plan on getting a shuttle bus over to a camper van rental from the airport. So many of the camper van rental will actually offer you free pickup. So depending on which company you've booked with, if you want to give us a little bit of context, Maddie, we'll be able to tell you that. But a lot of them actually offer free shuttle pickup, where they will send the shuttle and then they pick you up and send you over there. Now, the amount of time that it takes you really kind of depends on how busy the airport's going to be on that day. But for us, we're planning, when we're coming back to New Zealand, we're planning on having about, from the landing time, you need to get off the plane and then pass through all customs security, all that. We're planning about 45 minutes. That's kind of a good ballpark of what it will take to do everything. It may get faster, it may get a bit slower, but if you plan about 45 minutes, you should be kind of fine. If you want to be really sweet, you can do like an extra 15 minutes and be 1 hour. And she continues saying, we are going with Juicy Campers. They usually provide pickups, so they'll be able to come and pick you up there. You wouldn't have to pay for a shuttle. Don't spend more money than you need to.
And I think usually with the camper van rentals, they will say like what time is your flight due to get in, and then they can sort of arrange what time they can usually.
Because on the Auckland Airport website, you can see as an outsider, you can see exactly where the flight is, when the flight has landed, like the time, the waiting time and all that. So they will have kind of a system in place for that.
Yeah.
Okay, Lauren says, I got my packing cubes too. Laura, any comments?
Any comments about packing cubes?
Yes.
Pretty epic. Also on the packing lists, we also mentioned to take your packing cubes, because
we do love packing cubes.
Make your organization so much easier. So good.
And Maddie also say, any recommendations on how much local New Zealand money to carry with us on our 3-week trip?
Well,
Didn't we talk about it last week?
we talk about this every week, actually. People always have questions about it.
We like to pay pretty much everything in cash just because it gives less money to banks that just kind of get a transaction fees all the time. Either they charge the merchant, either they charge you, but no matter what, they make some money through it. And so we do like to usually pay in cash. So if you see us, rob us. And I will say that for about 3 weeks, you probably, let's say about like $2,000 a week, something like that. You will have so about 6,000, maybe a little bit more if you want, but that probably would be the amount of money that we will suggest.
Yes, indeed. Yeah.
If you don't plan to, if you plan to use your card all the time, just have like $500 or $1,000 just in case the card machine doesn't work or something like that. But yeah, I'd say that's a good ballpark. What I just said.
Jamie Owens says,
Jamie Owens!
Hey guys, hope you're both well. Do you know when they are raising the working holiday visa age to 35 for UK citizens?
I don't have the date on the top of my head, but they made the announcement recently, so I wouldn't say it's going to take too long because they're really basically desperate for workers right now. So all the change that they're doing right now is just to try to attract people as soon as possible. So I wouldn't think it will take that long.
Maybe I can just have a quick look at my sources while you read at the next.
Exactly.
And I will see if I have the information at hand.
Good. Go for it. Anthony says, yes, how much New Zealand money should I carry on a 3-week trip? I mean, I'm a little longer in 3 weeks and I got 2,000 cash right now in New Zealand dollars, but should I carry more? Well, I say about $2,000 a week if you plan on spending money usually all the time. Remember, Anthony, you do not need to tip in New Zealand, so don't leave half your money on the table every single time you go for a meal. In New Zealand, we have really high minimum wage, so no need to tip. Tapish says, actually guys, I used to have a lot of queries and scared cause traveling for the first time to New Zealand, but after seeing your video, guys, I am just okay and planning to settle in New Zealand. Nice one. Well, just enjoy, keep watching our videos, check the website as well, there's a lot. And yeah, if you want even more of our help, you can join us on Patreon. Maddie was saying she was going with Juicy. And Anthony says, I have my places, my car, and my tour is all paid for. Will $2,000 be enough for spending money for little things? Well, yeah, just think, for example, like, okay, you're going to be traveling at 2 people, right? So if you want to get a main in like a restaurant in New Zealand, that will cost you about $30 each. So that's $60 for one main. So let's say lunch will cost you about like, let's say $40. So that's like $100 for that. At breakfast, let's say like, okay, another $40. So 140. 140 times 21. That's going to be, yeah, you still need a little bit more. So I will go. Let's go for 4,000, Anthony, in cash, and that should be all right. That should be okay. Tapish is also asking about money and say, how much New Zealand dollars should I carry for my 1 month survival in New Zealand as a student? Well, something you can do, but just okay. So you know what I'm going to be doing while Laura is looking at that. I'm going to go and show my beautiful face because yes, I am beautiful. And I'm going to go on the site and I'm going to give you a bit of a tour right here on budget. We have somewhere budget here. So you go on travel tips, travel advice, and then budget. And on here, we actually list what's the cost of life in New Zealand, what's the cost of items. So then you can kind of look how much you usually spend, right? So we have the travel budget, so all these kind of things, the cost of backpacking and the cost of a working holiday. So that should help everybody, from Jamie talking about a working holiday to Anthony talking about budgeting for traveling and maybe budget for you, Tapish. So in here, we do actually have kind of example, and we updated them very recently. So in here we have kind of examples. So we think that it costs about 2,310 New Zealand dollars per day, to travel around. So you get car and fuel for about $90, private room for about $90 per day. If you have like 2 people, that's $180. Food, like self-catering restaurant, $50, and then activities, you do an average of $100 a day. So if we go through like, driving around, petrol right now is mostly a little over $2.50 now, but when we updated that, there was the price was a little bit lower. So about $2.50 or more per liter. So that's times that 3 to get a gallon. So that's $7.50. Okay, we're going to skip all that. So the cost of accommodation, we're going to skip all that because you have everything sorted, Anthony. But look at food. A main is about $30. A cafe sandwich is about $5 to $8. A pint of beer will be $8. Small coffees $4.50. Fast food pizza like a Domino's pizza, they start at $5, and Big Mac is about $5.20. So that, you can do a little bit of math and kind of have an understanding about how much you're going to spend. If you decide to cook for yourself, you get all the prices right here. So what I'll do for everybody is I'm going to put that link in the live chat right now. All right. So we also have Anthony says 2,000 when I get there, but as soon as I can, I should probably go to the bank and get another $2,000. Yeah, okay, that would be a perfect plan for you, Anthony. I love it. Maddie is laughing and saying it's so hard not to tip. I remember when we were in Iceland, it felt so unnatural not tipping after a meal. Yeah, no, I do understand, but also you can see on the other side, and you can still tip a little bit for like really exceptional service. But on the other side, minimum wage is about is a little over $20 an hour right now, so it's like much higher, obviously, and so yeah, it's quite decent. So yeah, all right. Laura.
I couldn't find it.
No, so Jamie, I'm sorry, we don't have that information just yet, even despite Laura checking her sources.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I thought I had it somewhere, but no, I just I don't want to spend the whole live session on my phone either. Yeah. So yeah, maybe we can like look after the session and.
Yeah, we'll look at it. There's no I know for a fact that from where I'm looking, like from the Immigration New Zealand kind of like insiders like newsletter, they haven't published a date just yet. So
yeah.
I know that I don't have a date right here on the top of my head. When it will be published, don't worry, it's gonna make the rounds and the rounds and the rounds. So yeah, we will announce it for sure. Jamie says, no worries, thanks for looking, I appreciate it. Yeah, you gave Laura, see how she's like gets so focused on doing research, like she takes that so seriously, I love it. Tapish says, which option is best for traveling in New Zealand? What should I choose to travel from north to south in New Zealand? Well, you get multiple options. You can travel by bus if you want to just take in the sceneries and just do a couple of tours, and we have plenty of options on the website for you. Or you can rent a car and decide to travel by car. If you're planning to be a student in New Zealand for 6 months, you may even want to buy a car, which probably will cost you about like 7,000 New Zealand dollars, and that could be like a self-contained camper van car, and then you can sleep in there as well, like following the freedom camping rules. So you have to do some research on that, kind of backpack a little bit, and then you can sell your car back at the end. So that could be a really good option for you. And we have information for you on the NZ Pocket Guide as well. You go on travel tips and then transportation, and we go over all of that for you.
Yeah.
All right, people, we have promised you something different this time around, and here it is. So for the next 52 weeks, that's right, 52 weeks. Why 52 weeks? Because that's a whole year. We are going to feature a new segment during this live show, and we're going to follow the life of one backpacker in New Zealand. It's one of our lovely patrons. His name is Armand, and he's just going to report to us his experience doing a gap year in New Zealand. Every week. So here you go. Here's episode 1. It's about like 2 minutes, and we'll be back in about 2 minutes. Check it out, guys.
Kia ora, fellow New Zealand travelers. This is Arman reporting on the first week of my working holiday in New Zealand. I am next to Albert Park in the Auckland CBD right now. So for the first week, I have mostly been taking care of paperwork stuff, namely the bank account, IRD number and Kiwi access card. Therefore, I don't have much to say on the experiencing and backpacker front, but I will say this right off the bat: if you're having second thoughts about coming to New Zealand, don't. It's absolutely worth it. People are extremely friendly and open-minded and helpful here, and I love the fact that nothing is taken too seriously, not even the ATM at the banks, at least my bank, as you can see. So what have I been doing apart from the paperwork stuff? I did go to the Newmarket Westfield shopping mall, which I really liked. I had my first Hokey Pokey ice cream, which I found delicious, and also had my first fish and chips here. which was really tasty also. I think, yeah, so I've been exploring mostly the central Auckland region, and Ponsonby to the west, and a bit of Newmarket to the east. I got the 80 hop card to be able to take the bus. With that aside, yeah, one thing I will say is that you should definitely not save up on sunscreen, because it's hard to describe, but the feeling of the sun rays on my skin are not what I'm used to, and it's better to be safe than sorry, obviously. I think that wraps it up for this week. I will keep you guys posted on the Women's Rugby World Cup, which I will be attending tomorrow, and also I'll be doing the sky jump and skywalk next week. So take care of yourselves and stay frosty.
All right, guys, I hope that you enjoyed this little catch-up from Armand. I absolutely loved it. I think it's just a cool addition to our live show. So yeah, quick explanation about why he's wearing a beekeeper suit at the end. So yeah, the photo of him in the beekeeper suit was he's actually staying in an Airbnb, and he just helped his host get rid of a hornet's nest, and so he was just holding a ladder basically. But I think that was kind of cool.
Handy they had a beekeeping suit
available.
I
mean that's something you should always have in your cabinets, right? I mean,
right.
Yeah. Anyway, so we'll this is week 1. Hopefully we're gonna make it all the way through week 52. And so yeah, you'll see his little adventures in New Zealand with photos every week, like just a 2-minute segments. I hope that you like it. Tell us a little bit about it. Like, tell us if you like it, if you don't like it. If you think do you think I should put music in the background when he's speaking, or is that fine like that? I thought it was fine like that, but like a little bit of feedback to make sure that we make it perfect. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
All right. In the meantime, let's recap over there. And we have Tapish that says,
what is the best option?
No.
Oh, sorry.
What should I?
All I can say for you guys is jackass.
Jackass.
You know what jackass
You're
is?
jackass.
You're jackass.
I don't know what jackass means. Tapish, maybe a bit of translation would be good.
Yeah.
Then he continues and asks, what is the best option for accommodation as a student renting an apartment for 6 months or staying in a lodge or hostels? Well, honestly, 6 months is kind of like this cut off where you're unsure which one is the best. So you will have to weigh both options. The good thing about hostel is that it's going to be much easier to get it. You don't have to deal with the bonds and the rental agreement and all these kind of things. You also get to meet people all the time, which is a lot of fun, and you have access to a much larger kitchen than what you will have in like those tiny student kind of flat. The good thing with the student stuff is that you do have more privacy. You have a place to your own, and it's kind of like it's just building some different kind of life experience, such as all the paperwork and all that Armand was talking about today. The paperwork is usually kind of fine.
Yeah.
So it's kind of really up to you. I personally usually prefer hostels. I think it's a bit more fun. I've been a long termer in a hostel before. I think it's a lot of fun,
and I personally prefer staying in flats. So
she's
she's
a bit more posh.
But what I would suggest as a recommendation is when you arrive in the city that you want to live in, actually go for a hostel first, because first of all that will be really quick and easy to go for you. Just ask for hostels like, do you accept like weekly do you have weekly rates? What are your weekly rates? And because usually their weekly rates might be a bit cheaper than if you were to pay each night separately. So first of all, book a week or two in a hostel, and use that time to first of all see if you like staying in that hostel, and if you do, you can definitely stay there long term. But if it's if you're like, oh, actually I would prefer a little bit more privacy or just a different vibe somewhere else to stay with maybe a bit less people, then you can then still stay in the hostel, but use that as your base for finding a new accommodation, because the process of finding a flat or a house share, like usually house share is more what it's called in New Zealand, that process usually takes a little bit longer, not as easy to get. So yeah, it's a good idea to sort of base yourself in the hostel while you're doing that process to find somewhere else to live.
Boom.
Oh,
Laura, so good with all the tips. Okay, Lauren say that's awesome. Thank you, Armand, and love the video. I love it. Extreme Telauta says Morena.
Morena.
Good morning, mate. How are you doing? Christina says thanks, Armand. So fun. Maddie says thanks, Armand. I have a great time. I'm looking forward to the updates.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, so pop in weekly. It's gonna be
Yeah.
fun. And Banksy, the great Banksy.
The great.
The great Banksy. I mean, you know, artist extraordinaire
Yeah.
right here, world famous.
I'm
is
honoured
showing up.
to
I
be
mean,
in his virtual presence right now.
I mean, there is last week we had Michelangelo, the week before Leonardo da Vinci.
Wow,
I mean,
they're
now Banksy.
all here.
I know, yeah. Pablo Picasso is coming next week. I mean, it's
Okay,
pretty epic.
nice.
Okay, what is Banksy saying?
Banksy says, "Hi guys, finally sorted our trip and thanks for some of the travel vids. They helped a lot. What is the best sandfly repellent and which pharmacy slash shop sells it? Arrive in New Zealand March 2023. Thanks."
All right, Banksy. Genuinely, the way we get our insect repellents is on Amazon US because we can't find the good ones here. The one that we find here in New Zealand are like those like spray full of DEET, and they're really not great. So the one that we use actually are like natural insect repellent that works very well. And Laura and I really often travel to the South Pacific Islands, which have way more ravenous mosquitoes and other kind of insect, and those insect repellent that we use actually works over there as well. So for this reason, the best place to find them is on Amazon, and we do have lists actually on NZ Pocket Guide. So what I'll do is I'll give you the link right here, so it's going to be easier for you to just find which one you can find available for yourself, I think, rather than going the other way around. So I'm going to go back to here, my beautiful face again. What an amazing face am I? And sand flies, is that correct? So just type sand flies up on top over there. That should work. And oops, I just need to get rid of the spammer. And sorry, hide user on this channel. Apologies for that, people. I've just done it on that. Anyway, so yeah, see, if you just type sandfly, you have the 7 best insect repellents for New Zealand. Sorry, that was a... So for some reason, I just want to point out that in the chat right now, for some reason, we have Tamo that cannot ask a simple question, but that chat with sexy adult websites was no problem passing through. Just
It wasn't sexy adult. It was just best adult dating site.
best,
They weren't
just best.
sexy. They're probably all very
so
disgusting.
hideous, but best. All right, so for a good cuddle, go to that place, whatever. Anyway, Banksy, I've gave you the link in the live chat right now with like the one that we use basically.
Yeah, I'll just say a thing about like the pharmacies and shops in New Zealand when it comes to insect repellents. The issue with it is also there's not really consistency in brands. When we go to pharmacies and we're looking for, sort of more, sort of more natural, less chemical options, they are all over the place. They're usually really expensive, and so it's more like the selection of those sort of products in New Zealand isn't great. They usually just stick to like Robin says, the sort of massive sort of high grade insect repellent in a tin, which is like spray, like the spray one, which can get all over your clothes and stuff as well. So that's why it's usually a good idea to actually come with something a bit more decent that you can probably get in your home country. Yeah.
So and actually last week during the Patreon show, we were actually showing like all the insect repellent that we have. Speaking of, we need to buy sunscreen. All right. Extreme Talate says Robin is referring to I just gave them a timeout to the spammer. Here you go. Red cards is the thing that's...
Well done, Robin.
Yes, sports metaphor.
I
I know sports things. What is Lauren saying?
Tapish says Jackass means the best.
Oh, I like it.
Yeah.
To be fair, you could say whatever you want right now, and that we will believe you, right? So we have no idea.
We'll
I love
take your
that.
word for it.
I will choose to think that you're a nice guy. So okay, what is Lauren saying?
Lauren says, I wanted to file my NZETA this week, but noticed it doesn't ask for a stay date. Just curious about that process. Does it matter when I request it? So when you request... that's hard to say. When you request it, it's valid for 2 years. So that's why they don't ask for stay dates, because they assume you're going to be in the country within the next 2 years, or else why would you be applying for the NZETA? So don't be put off by that. Just go for it now, whenever you're ready, basically, and it is valid for 2 years. So no worries, easy, as they would say in NZ. All right, moving on to Banksy says, thanks for the link. Appreciate it. Picasso is there next week after popping round to mine. Nice. We have all the artistes on board. Hey, have we had our username of the week award yet, Robin? Yeah, we
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah,
I definitely wasn't doing something else that was really important for me to do. Yes, no, we haven't done the best username right here. So therefore, I know what you're doing. Banksy G3. Banksy G3. Oh, maybe it's not the real Banksy. I mean, Banksy G3. Maybe it's not the real.
maybe it's
anyway,
the Android version.
nonetheless, Banksy, you, my friend, have the best username of the week.
You've ruined all our jingles, Robin.
All of them. All right, best username. This prize has a value of what, Laura?
Just
Peanuts.
peanuts. Yeah.
Nothing. It's just
Whatever price you want to put on it. Priceless, some might say.
Yes, it's priceless. It's worth peanuts and it's priceless at the same
Yeah.
time. So here you go. You have the best username of the week, mates. Okay, Tapish is saying, is clothing expensive in New Zealand? Damn, yes.
Yes.
Laura, what's your answer to that?
Yes, it is. Anything you can get overseas is probably going to be cheaper and easier to get once you arrive in New Zealand. There's certainly a lot of clothes stores and stuff in New Zealand, but bearing in mind a lot of it is imported from overseas, from very far away, which puts all sorts of extra expenses on it. And just in general, the cost of everything in New Zealand might be a little bit higher than what you're used to because we are so isolated and far away, and there's a lower population as well, which means that, well, people can charge that much because if you have got no other options, then you're gonna pay for it anyway. And capitalism.
Yeah. Tapish says, I request Robin to make more videos on grocery shopping. We did a lot, but they are for Patreons. So just because they're slightly different type of videos, a bit more personal and all that. So yeah, if you join us on Patreon, we have like at least about 2 hours worth of videos on grocery shopping, if not more. We have like 2 live sessions for sure. Plus we have like videos in the supermarket and all that. So yeah, we do have plenty. You just need to join us on Patreon for that because it's the kind of video we need to keep private. So yeah. They do exist. Lawrence says, oh well, now it makes sense. I'll do it now. That's for the NZDTA. Christina says, it's the declaration from the form that asks for your date. Tarmo filled his out, and I'm about to do that this afternoon. Oh, nice.
So the traveller declaration.
Everybody's doing their homework right here.
Yeah. So the traveller declaration is that other form you have to do before coming to New Zealand, and you can start that process 28 days before your arrival date in New Zealand, and that's where you do, like Christina says, that's where you do have to state the dates of your flight coming to New Zealand.
Okay, Tamo says the traveler declaration asks for even for the flight number, not just the date. Yeah, what I find quite interesting that they ask you for your flight number and then the date, but then they cannot make up the rest. While the flight number always have the same arrival time and everything, right? So it's kind of like, mate, what are you doing?
Why am I doing all the work here?
Yeah, it's kind of like a lot of like the flight times and everything should be able to be pre-filled after that. Anthony says, stay safe, but I'm here till the end. Already? Oh yeah! Wow, thank you very much, Anthony. That works. Actually. What was it on the Patreon session last week, right? We went way over time as well because
I was here and we just had so much fun.
Anthony wasn't there. Anthony wasn't there to tell us. Oh, are you here for this week as well?
Yes, I am.
There you go, guys. You get one more more
Laura
time.
So much last week. I thought I'd join again.
All right. Tapish says, what do I have to do to go on Patreon? There is a link in the description of this video, and you click, it says Patreon/NZ Pocket Guide. And then you just pick a membership, start at $5 a month, and you got access to a lot of bonus, basically a lot of it, and you help us keep the lights on because that's a lot of light that I'm facing right now.
Very high electricity bill.
And I have boxes of lights right here for something later. All right. Extreme Talauta. Oh, he finds some emojis I've never seen before.
That's good.
I love that, Extreme Talauta. That's good.
So yellow card in the sin bin. Robin off the field for the rest of the game.
Sport metaphor. I know them. I don't think I understand what that means, but in the sin bin. Oh, is that when you have to sit out for like 5 minutes or something? Okay, cool. I'm getting it. Sorry, I am really terrible at sports.
If you get 2 yellow cards, that equals a red card, and you're off.
Oh wow.
You don't want to get 2 yellow cards.
No. Can I just get straight to the red card?
Oh, if you do something
I don't like
bad enough.
sweating. I don't like,
if you go punch another player in the face.
All right. Tapish is the best time to book cheapest flight to New Zealand.
Ooh, okay.
Well, I do have something to say about booking flight.
Yes.
No.
Well, it is quite a complicated process, Tapish, which we do detail in detail. Maybe
I will show it while you talk. I
Yeah.
will show the site.
So, we do have an article dedicated to the art, which is the time to book the cheapest flights to New Zealand, because it is, you know, it's different for everyone. It depends on where you're coming from as well. It depends on the high season, the low season of where you're coming from. So, yeah. We do have an in-depth guide, which you should definitely check out, which is how to book a cheap flight to New Zealand. And we do have lots of different tips there, so you could use a combination of some of those tips, see what works for you, because admittedly, not all of them work, only some of them will work. Depends, again, the airline industry when it comes to prices is all over the place, so sometimes some of these tips don't work. It works for other airlines. Just try a bunch. But the number one tip we would give for you guys, anyone booking a flight, is to, when you're booking a flight, open a private browser in your...
Or use a VPN.
Or use a VPN, which means that you're basically not tracked as much through cookies, through the airline website, because as we experienced just a couple of days ago, when we were searching for flights, once we went back on that page on our normal browser, we saw that the flights had gone up by $200. We were like, what is happening here? And they were timing us, and they wanted to time us out and say, oh, these cheaper tickets are no longer available. But once we opened that same page in a private browser or VPN, it went back down to those cheaper flight prices. So that is like the number one tip we would give for booking any flight is, it's not just a myth. Go on private browsing, because that will, ensure that you are getting cheaper. They're not tracking your cookies and bumping up the prices, which include...
I like cookies though, it is so good.
So they do, airlines obviously do that because they want to encourage...
Is it that joke for you, Peter and Monica?
They want to encourage panic buying, because, you know, you might have experienced before when you see that prices are going up on flights and they make it appear that seats are being booked out fast. It's actually not the case. They just want you to spend more money. So,
go.
Bear that in mind.
Lawrence is talking to Tapish, and she said that there's a link to the Patreon in the description, which is true. And Tamo says, today's Patreon station will be derailed again. Yes, probably. Laura is here. When Laura is here, everything gets derailed.
Derailed? What?
But it is going to be the first Patreon live session for Monica and Peter. Hopefully they make it on time, so that'd be great. I can't wait. What is Matthias having to say? Hello, Matthias.
Says, hi, I'm going to travel in New Zealand in March 2023 with the working holiday visa from Argentina. What advice can you give me? And is it true that they need a lot of work at this time?
Yes, so it's a great time to travel to New Zealand for a working holiday visa. So first up, you made a great choice. That's really cool. Second, one advice I'm going to give you is to rewind this video. We are featuring for the first time this week a segment about working holiday visa, especially where we have Armand, that is a French backpacker coming to New Zealand on a working holiday visa, and he's going to go week by week. He's just going to give us a bit of a report. The other tip I'm going to give you is to head to our website, so nzpocketguy.com, and there is a big tab saying work in New Zealand, and there is so many tips for you there that it's going to be like such a breeze. You know, just read one article a day, you know, until you come there, and then you have a good understanding about what to expect in New Zealand. We have a wealth of information right here on the channel, on the website. It's all free for you, so just seriously enjoy it. If you have specific questions, Matthias, feel free to join at the same time. Every single week we do this live session, so feel free to join over and over again when you have done some research and you have some questions, specific stuff. Just come and ask. We're always here to help. But the number one tip I'm going to say for a working holiday in New Zealand is to not plan to stay in one place for the whole time. Just travel around. Make sure that every job you get is only 2 to 3 months, and that's at most. And then you can just work for 2 to 3 months. Let's say you arrive in New Zealand, you're going to land in Auckland, head to Tauranga, work for 2 to 3 months there, then travel around, and then base yourself somewhere else, and then work for 3 months, and then base yourself somewhere else and work for 3 months. Make the most out of the country, because you don't know what you're missing out until you get there. And a lot of people just stick in Auckland and kind of grind there there, and then they only have about 1 month to travel in New Zealand, and then only have about 1 month to travel around New Zealand, and then they realize, oh damn, I should have spent more time traveling around New Zealand, experiencing the place. And they were right. That's it.
Yeah, nice tips. Cool. We are now going on to Lorinda.
I like Lorinda. That's a cool name.
Lorinda says, hi, love your videos. I'm a French student and I just finished my master's degree. I'd like to move to New Zealand, live and work there. Which visa should I apply for?
So Lorinda, there's a law in New Zealand that states that if you're not a registered immigration advisor, it is illegal for you to give away immigration advice. And for that reason, we cannot give you immigration advice at all because we are not registered immigration advisor. So sadly, we can only point you to immigration.govt.nz. It is a great website. Seriously, there is a lot of like questionnaire you can answer, and it will tell you which are the visa that you can consider getting for your move to New Zealand. But the one thing I'm going to say is that first up, plan yourself a 3 months holiday in New Zealand and see if the place is for you. Don't immigrate somewhere until you have visited the place. Trust us.
Trust us.
And bonjour.
Tapish says thanks. Extreme Talo Uta says, well,
thanks to Lawrence. Don't take the thanks for yourself.
Oh, no. That's why I was just saying it. Yeah. I was just glossing over. Extreme Taluta says, well, have to go on the field for the last time this year. Better warm up.
Nice.
Ooh.
Go do some stretches, mate. Don't get injured on the last one. I mean, that would be terrible.
I hope you don't have to do too many yellow and red cards.
Yes.
I hope it's a nice, friendly game.
It always is. It's New Zealand.
Yeah.
Ready to escape. That's a cool name.
Yeah.
Traveling to New Zealand in 2 weeks. 2 weeks only. That's exciting. I love it. 14 days until your trip. Says, what is the best way to get a discounted ferry rate that is flexible from Picton to Wellington, since I don't know when I will cross? There is no best way to do that, my friend. Sadly. But we do have an article on the website about the ferry crossing where we give you some tips about which one will be the best time, you know.
Yeah.
So I'll show you that quickly. But yeah, it is what you're wanting right now is the most demanded stuff, right? Ferry crossing, everybody wants one, and flexible travel dates, everybody wants one. So you kind of have to, before you book your ferry, you have to know when you're traveling. It's kind of like a given.
I think they do flexi tickets, however, they won't be cheap. They'll
Yeah,
be the most
that's the thing.
expensive.
They will be very expensive. You're not on screen. So yeah, there's just a voice.
The
coming
voice
from.
Where is that voice
let
coming
me
from?
just stop it. She's disturbing me. Ah! What was I doing? Yes, ferry. Jesus. Okay, it's not even the Patreon live session right now, so we did derail. Anyway, so we have a full guide right here, mate. So if you go on NZ Pocket Guide, you type ferry. The first thing you have right here, I'll give you the link right here. So we go over everything, what's kind of the prices and like what are the cheapest kind of options. But yeah, you basically won't be able to find like a cheap. You back on screen. You won't be able to find a cheap ferry for flexible at the date exactly you want. It's not going to happen. There's more demand than there is ferries for at the moment. So yeah, sadly I don't have a good answer for you. Apologies. I have an honest answer though, but not a good answer. Sorry. Okay, Lorinda says thank you guys and bonjour.
Bonjour.
What is Tapish saying?
Tapish says, no, Robin. Big thanks to Laura too.
Oh, fine. Let's
See?
thank Laura. The voice from the beyond is back.
Yes, the voice has a face now.
What is Matthias saying?
Matthias says, thank you very much for your tips. Is it true that now it is more difficult to get a work visa with a sponsor? My idea is to be able to stay after a working holiday because I love New Zealand.
So, same answer than Lorinda. Sadly, you will have to go to immigration.govt.nz because we're not able to give you that. I haven't heard that it was harder to get visas at the moment. They need a lot of workers and they've been giving visas quite fast right now. So I haven't heard anything like that. But remember, Matthias, that if you come into New Zealand working holiday visa, look at the visa conditions that you have. Your main reason to come to New Zealand is to holiday with working as a secondary purpose. So you want to come to just experience New Zealand as a visitor. That's what the working holiday is for. It's not an immigration path to New Zealand. All right. So, we're off the time. Okay, the question of the day.
Woo, let's wrap
Question
it up.
of the day. Question of the day. All right. So we are questioning people today, and we were asking, will you be visiting Rotorua during your next trip to New Zealand? And the answer was overwhelmingly yes. 80% of people, Laura, said yes.
80%?
Yes, 19% of people said no. 1% of people are the ghost of the voice
Maybe
of the
they're
beyond.
The voice.
Yeah, the
maybe
voice
that's
of the
where
ghost
voice
of the
was coming
beyond. So
from.
yeah, here you go. All right, guys, thank you very much for an awesome live show. We'll be back next week at the same time. So if you have more questions about traveling in New Zealand, why not join us then? Plus, you're gonna get to see the week 2 of Armand's gap year in New Zealand. So that's gonna be really exciting. And in the meantime, we are going to be doing another hour of this shenanigan for our Patreon subscribers. So if you feel like joining us on Patreon, hit the link in the description. Choose a perk. It's pretty cheap. You won't be charged until the 1st of the month. So you can try it for 3 weeks right now. You still have 3 weeks of the month for free. Woohoo! And then stick around. It starts at $5 a month. A great way to help us keep the lights on. Say thank you for all our hard work. And yeah, if you want to pick our brain 24/7, head to nzpocketguide.com. And if you have any specific questions and you can't make it to the live show, you can put your question in any comments of our videos and we'll happily answer it for you. In the meantime, everybody stay awesome, and let's wrap up with Tapish's last comment.
And the last comment is from Tapish saying, thanks for the help, guys. Just want to appreciate your hard work. Love you guys from India.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye-bye,
You're
everybody.
welcome. Bye. See you next week.